Okay, good morning, everybody. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and broadcast over Lunenburg Public Access Channel. This meeting's recording will be available on Lunenburg Public Access YouTube channel within 24 hours. I'm calling this meeting to order at 9:36. We're going to skip to our new business and introduce Chris Ruth with a facilities update.
So just looking, hi everyone, sorry. Just looking at the agenda here, couple things that were on here listed under the capital plan was some fencing work around the generator. So the fence has been installed, and Deb mentioned to me earlier that this was looking for some paint on it. Our plan is to stain it as soon as the weather breaks. When they put the fence in late fall into the winter, it was just too cold and too wet to apply any finish to it, but it is a cedar fence, so the thought is just to stain it. For the flooring and rug replacement, this was put forward on the capital plan, so after town meeting vote, hopefully we'll be able to get going on that. Quick update on the kitchen project list was an older capital one that was before my time. Director Deb and I are getting into a little bit of trouble over there, but we're finding a way to get basically a commercial kitchen done for almost no money. So it's not pretty at the moment, but we're going to have a nice kitchen for you, hopefully around the end of the week somewhere, maybe into next week.
Oh, wow.
So,
Great.
Sorry.
Other than that, on some other updates, we put some blinds in this room, as people might be able to see. Not 100% done yet because the electrical isn't connected to them, but the upper ones are motorized. And then I gotta ask, what was the outdoor electrical? What are we looking for over there?
I think in the pavilion, is that all?
Yep, that's all wired up, ready to
All
go.
wired up?
Yep, the only wiring we didn't complete was we have a conduit run out to the shed. So if we wanted to, we could run power up there if we wanted some lights over there on the, the bocce ball or the shuffleboard courts. It's an option.
Right, what would it take to get that done?
Just have to have the electrician pull a wire out there, and probably about $5,000 somewhere in that range.
Okay,
To do something like that.
great, thank you. All right, so for the capital plan for next year, we have money for a parking lot plan
Design, yep.
design? Okay, so that's all taken care of for next year.
Assuming it gets voted through, but it was fairly high at the capital list.
Okay,
So I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to start our design come July 1.
all right, great, thank you.
I would also like to, I want to kind of try to tie into that design as well, the ramp on the other side. If, parking is up there, new parking will be over there in theory, so I'd like to try and combine those together because that ramp presents a bigger issue than most people see.
Could you explain that?
It doesn't meet any sort of ADA requirements.
Ah, okay.
So if I were to replace that, I cannot replace it as it is. So,
Chris, I know within the past 15 years, there's been a lot of ideas floated about the parking lot, but one that was intriguing that came most recently was switching where the playground is to where that top parking is, and maybe combine it here so that, is that something that's possible to explore in your opinion, or?
I certainly think it's possible. I like the idea personally,
Yeah.
because, once we move the playground, we run into, again, no ADA access. Up there, we're fairly level. It might be a little easier to make some of those play features more accessible, as well as consolidating parking all into one spot.
Right, because to do anything with the playground here, even just moving it, it means you have to uninstall it and install it. It didn't fit. And I believe this playground is going to be in 26 is a 20-year structure.
Yeah.
So at that point, I think it's a good time to revisit safety and
Yeah.
everything else. So is that something that is in your mind to explore?
It's in my mind to explore. The playground seems to have quite a bit of interest from different parties in town and different opinions as to whether it should be moved. The initial thought was shifted over. Suggestions came up to move it into that parking lot. Other suggestions have come up as move it out of the center of town entirely. So there's a whole bunch of groups we'll have to work with to kind of get a final answer on that. But I think step one is going to be, kind of a preliminary plan to see what our best options are, what the engineers think will be the cheapest.
Okay, for both combined
Yep.
playground and parking lot design?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Either way, we have to move the playground, so it's
Right.
it's,
And that's-
it's part of the
that's what I
project.
thought,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you need any help getting these groups around in the table, let me know.
Oh, you'll be my first call.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for Chris? All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time, everyone. I'd love to
you.
stick around, but I have a couple other fires to put out.
Happy to. Thank you. Thanks, Chris. All right, let's get back to the regular agenda. All right, do we have any public comment? Seeing no public, I guess we can move on to board comment. Do we have board comment?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Lincoln?
In 18 years I've been on this board, I've only had one rant, so here's number 2. I was terribly dismayed that the Santa for Seniors program was ended. I'm 82, I have bad eyes and bad knees. Ice is a deadly enemy. I'm serious about that, deadly enemy. And for 5 days during this ice cataclysm we just suffered through, we didn't leave the house. I finally got a friend with a truck to drive to the fire department and found out they had no sand. We went to the DPW, found they had no sand. We went to construction companies and had no sand. We owe it to our seniors to make them safe. More than anything else we do, seniors need to be safe. And I'm proposing that we distribute sand ourselves next year. There's a lot right out here where we could put sand, and the supporters could pay for some of it. I'm sure a lot of us, Deb and I, would be glad to contribute all the sand. Jim Latanzi has already done some work in helping out the seniors. There are buckets available. Not all seniors have to be catered to. Plenty of seniors have the capability of getting up here and getting sand, especially before winter. They have one on hand in the cellar, so when ice does come, it's not too late to try to get out to get it. But I really think that should be a number 1 thing in our agenda for next fall.
Can I add to Jeff? Peter? Sorry.
It's okay, Sam.
Yeah, thanks. So we are meeting with the town manager and the fire department regarding the sand. Basically, this was a grant that the fire department got. So they got the grant, they got the sand, they put it out there, they delivered it to everyone who wanted it. And then with that, it was all gone. Once it was all gone, but then people didn't plan ahead. So then they're calling because of ice storms and things like that, when the people who had planned ahead already had it at their homes. In fact, we had replaced some sand at people's homes because it had hardened. There was a small amount left at the DPW, but the reason the DPW stopped leaving the sand outside is because contractors were filling up their trucks and taking the sand. So I do have a meeting with Chief Sullivan, the town manager, and myself, along with Olivia and Pauline, to better plan this out for the fall, get the word out, let them know exactly how this program works, and to better organize it for the fall.
Does it still need grant support?
I was going to say, we should,
does.
safety shouldn't be
No,
relied on.
no, but we do have, we do have the grant support, so that's not an issue.
Okay.
Will it be available for people just to go get it?
That we haven't discussed yet.
That I think
Yeah.
is important, because
Yeah,
there's plenty of people who are capable of getting the sand.
Yeah.
Don't need to have it and take it to fire
Delivered.
truck to
Yeah.
delivered,
yeah,
and have it available when.
right. And part of it with the fire department is it was a safety check as well,
Yeah.
because those are the individuals who are homebound that couldn't get sand themselves that they were giving it to, so that if there was an event, an ice storm or something, those would be the people on their list that they would check on first.
Right, I understand that, but that's a small percentage of our seniors.
Yeah,
All seniors need it.
yep. So we will definitely be working on that with the town manager and the fire chief.
Yeah, grant's over.
And the other issue would be, and it's on the agenda a little bit further down, So when we get to that, we can talk about how to get the word out, really get the word out.
Yep.
So people know.
Yep.
When this new policy comes out, how people will be able to get it if they don't need the fire department to know. So we can talk about that later on. Any other comments?
So Deb did her first presentation to the finance committee last week, and I just want to congratulate her that she did a great job.
All right.
She had a presentation, she spoke about, all that the center does, the impact that it has on people. She did make the request for a full-time, site manager, and right there, I asked the town manager if she was looking to support that, and the town manager said she would like to support that. So hopefully that conversation comes to fruition for you. But keep us posted, because you have a group of people that can support you in your request.
Yeah, it went so, the finance committee was so kind. It was really a good experience, yeah.
Well, that's excellent. Yes. That's great. All right, any other board comment? So did you all get your minutes? Yeah, you had a chance to go over them. Do I hear, I do have one comment. Michael Jeffries is spelled wrong. It's R-E-Y-S. I'd like to make that change. It's Jeffreys. Anybody else have any comments?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
Can I add on that?
Sure.
For the minutes, if you could stop in before you leave and see Michelle, and just let her know if you want them mailed or emailed.
Well, that's part of our discussion.
Oh, is it done?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
part of the discussion.
Perfect.
I hope it's on the agenda. Maybe it isn't.
Okay.
Maybe we thought it was. Oh, it's not. All right, so,
I have a question about the minutes. Now, I got the email from Michelle, but nothing was attached to it.
What do you mean? That you didn't get the minutes attached?
No.
That's what I called you about yesterday.
I got the email, and I thought it was me, and I kept trying.
it wasn't attached,
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
well,
but we got it in the mail.
We did, but I'm
Yes,
just
but
saying.
it was not attached.
It wasn't
I know,
attached, so
I know.
I'm
Okay.
glad.
I saw another email,
Oh,
I don't know if it was yesterday, about attachments, so it may be part of that problem of getting things attached.
Yes.
There was an explanation of how to, if you're gonna send a file to a, there
Yes.
was someone from town hall.
yeah, I think it
Yes.
was the town manager
So
said
the
that.
manager said that there's a new way to do attachments or
Right,
something.
yeah,
so-
that I did.
Right, that was probably the problem. I just at first thought it was
Yeah.
just.
Did you get your minutes in the mail?
I got it yesterday.
Sorry, mine didn't come in yesterday's mail.
Okay.
We're in the same neighborhood.
Who knows?
Well, hopefully this attachment business will be squared away by the next one, but perhaps they should go in the mail
Until.
until at least one more time, until we're sure. I think that's the way to go. But they probably should go a little sooner,
Right. In
so when
case-
Deborah comes
yeah,
back,
right.
we'll say that for at least one more time. She doesn't sound good. No. All right, we'll give her a minute to, so because we're having this attachment issue.
Yeah.
Just for the next set of minutes, we should probably have them mailed out, but a little bit sooner than,
Okay,
because some people still haven't gotten them.
okay, we'll do
Yeah,
that.
'cause the mail is a little iffy,
Yes,
so like maybe try to get them out of the
we'll do.
Okay.
Sorry about that, I got
that's
tickled.
okay. So the next item after Chris,
I know.
the next item after Chris was Sand for Seniors, which Sterling had already brought up. But I think it's important, after this discussion happens, that we find a way to get the word out to our seniors, how this is going to work. From us as well, because the town isn't always great about getting the information out. And since it's coming from multiple departments, and then if we have a policy for people who are able to come up and get it, make people aware of that as well, and find a way to get that information out, because again, we still don't have a super good way of communicating. Now, hopefully we do, and hopefully people are gonna watch our meetings, but maybe we can find a way to even get a
We can
mailer out or
robocall the
something.
entire town too.
That would be great.
Oh, well, all the seniors.
Did they change the time when the meetings are gonna be broadcast?
I think so. I think
Because
so.
remember, it was
Yes,
late at night,
yes.
nobody would watch it.
Yes, I think that they did.
Okay.
I saw one that was on, I think it's 7 o'clock,
7 p.m.
but the sound was a little problem, which is why we're doing things the way we are. So, yes, there was one that was on earlier, and I'll check and make sure that stays that way.
Yes.
Okay,
Debbie, one comment too, that the, on PAC TV, you know how they have the running announcements?
yeah,
I don't know.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, have the slides come up.
Mm.
So we'll send out a slide as soon as that comes, well,
Yeah.
probably in the fall, well, because people won't remember now, but in the fall, once that comes up, and we have a policy at hand, we'll get that out on the slides. But again, not everybody watches that too, so maybe a robocall or
Yep,
something.
robocall would be good.
Great.
Constant contact, email, and Facebook, and
Yep.
we'll get it out there. Mhm.
Okay,
PAC has to set up a complicated schedule covering 25 committees, all the basketball games, and they have to set up a time for us that's constant, so people know it's always going to be on Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Like, we're talking baseball shows on 5 times a week, and we know exactly when it is. But a new program like this has to be fit in amongst all the other stuff. So I don't think Joe's had a chance to really organize
she moved it.
consistent, she
Yeah,
did
she
that,
moved.
but it should be shown 4 or 5 times a week.
Oh, right now it's twice, I think. It's earlier than it happened, which is helpful. I don't think I want to see you stay up at 11 o'clock to watch our meeting. So,
How does
okay,
a person get on the robocall?
If you're registered here,
Yeah,
your phone number's in there,
okay.
and we would just send it out.
So, when the senior center closed a couple of weeks ago on Tuesday when it was so icy,
Yep.
to include my instructor, I got the call, but many people in the yoga class did not.
So they weren't registered for the class. So,
Even though they had a little swipe.
so you need to register ahead of time for all the programs, so that way if there's something happens, an instructor can't come or things like that, whoever's registered will get the phone call. If you just planned on showing up,
Yeah.
then you weren't registered and you wouldn't get the call. So that's why we encourage everyone to register for programs that they want to come to. And also, some of the programs are full. So if you plan on just showing up, you may not be able to get in.
Okay, I'll pass that
So,
around.
thank you.
Yeah.
okay, any other discussion? Okay. Moving on to the Boston Post-K.
So, the last woman,
Mary Bentley.
Mary Bentley, adamantly refused, declined the award.
Wait a minute, she declined and then she said yes, and now she's declining again.
Well, it was a family member that said that she would accept it and they would make sure she got there.
Okay.
But upon talking with her, that family member had a challenge because that was not going to happen.
Okay.
So now I need to double check with the town clerk, but the next person may be Charles Sanderson.
Aha, I was gonna ask about that.
So Charles was a World War II veteran who is turning 100 this month,
Right,
and he will be honored at our April Veterans Breakfast.
okay.
So Senator Cronin and Representative Scarsdale and others will be here to honor him at that Veterans Breakfast.
Okay, I believe he is the father of one of my classmates, and I will follow up with him to see if they want to do a Century Club membership.
Yep.
So
Yes.
even if he is not the oldest person, we can still do a Century Club for him.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'll do that.
And he's lived in town his whole life.
He has, yeah, and he's had children and grandchildren go through the school system, so I'll follow up with his son Bob. All right. So that would be cool to have another Century Club member. That would make it 4. All right. I'll let you know about that. All right. The COA fiscal year 26 budget.
Yeah, so like I said, Thursday night, we presented the budget. I did put a couple copies on the tables here. In front of Jim is the copy of the presentation, so if anybody wants to take a look at it and see what was in it. And
Oh, the presentation, that's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
This one is-
Yeah.
No, I saw that.
yeah, so that was, yeah, you were there. I had been asked to provide a financial report, so I just put a little report in front of each one of you. Basically, we had 2 accounts. One was meeting schools and one was advertising that each had $500 in them. So I did request that those be moved to programs and office supplies, and that was approved. So those
For this current fiscal year?
for now,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So
So
advertising.
advertising is gone, and the meetings/school is gone. And then there's add $500 to the office supplies and $500 to programs. So I wanted to get that moved over because we need it in those spaces.
Regarding FY '26, have you had follow-up conversations with the town manager? Or-
Just a little brief conversation, yeah. Yeah, she's very supportive, which is wonderful. So, so that is just a little view of what we have. And one of the things that people don't realize is in our budget, there is no line that says food. So the $5 that people pay for their lunch or the $3 for breakfast is what supports this program. So, you know, whatever they pay, we use for the next one. So that's why it's so important when we're registering for programs. It used to be you registered, and if you came, you threw your money in the basket. If you didn't come, you didn't pay, but we already bought the food for it. So, like I said, it's really important to register for these so that we can continue these programs. And then, so, like I said, the Finance Committee was very kind and encouraging, and I'm hopeful the budget will be voted on and passed as presented at town meeting. This Thursday, we have our St. Patrick's Day celebration. We have Irish Step Dancers, Lucky Bingo with Bill from the Highlands, Shepherd's Pie by our own staff, and music from the Sons of Blarney that is also sponsored by the Highlands. The Friendly Seniors will be selling their May baskets in the lobby on that day also. So if you're interested in getting a May basket, I bought 8 of them yesterday. I'm gonna put little gift cards in for the grandkids for Easter. They're beautiful, they're really cute. All activities that day are full. So if you plan on coming, if you haven't registered, they're all full. And then we'll be sure to post pictures. Monday's bus to Foxwoods does have a couple seats left. So if anybody's interested, you should get a hold of Michelle right away and get your name on there. The Eagle House supporters will be holding their March meeting on the 26th. There's been some illness and things like that, so they had to postpone their meetings. And they have partially funded our trip to Foxwoods. Tuesday, there is still time if you call before noon on Friday for Lunch and Learn with Integrity Medicare Advisors. They're going to talk about the new prescription drug plans and how that affects you. So they are ordering lunch from El Forno. So big ziti, salad, and bread. So like I said, if you want to sign up for that sooner than later, because that is almost full as well. Wednesday, the library will be here to present on Libby. If you don't know about Libby, you need to know about Libby. Libby's an app for your phone or your device or your computer where you can download books and read them on your phone or your device, your tablet, or their audio. So the book club for April is The Book Woman of Troublesome Creek. I listen to it going to work and back. So, great book, I highly recommend it. But it's a great app to have on your phone where if you sit at night and your eyes are tired, you can listen to your book. So they're going to show you how to download it, how to work it, how it happens. So that's on Wednesday. And then the historical presentation on the Lunenburg schools has been postponed. There was something happened with the presenter, so that has been postponed. It was previously planned for Friday, the 21st of March, but we have not rescheduled that yet. It may be June.
What did that consist of?
It was the whole history of all the schools in Lunenburg, where they started, and, you know, from the little ones to what it is now kind of thing, so it's a whole history. But I don't know who was presenting it, but they were not able to come. Want to do that?
Good.
All right.
And just please check your newsletter for April. We've got a lot of great things coming up. We're doing more crafts. We got some wood crafts, we have felting, some great stuff coming up.
So what you gave us is the updated financial report for March?
This is March,
Okay.
March 3rd.
All right, thank you. All right, Neshoba Valley Medical Center Hospital Work Group. I don't know if anybody else had heard this, but I had heard that the governor had disbanded that. Did anybody else hear that? Really?
I heard she was attempting to do that.
Yes, yeah, so I don't know, but I had heard that she's attempting to disband that
That's
group.
good, yeah.
So I don't know when the next time our representatives are going to be here, but,
Coming up.
yeah, it's coming up, so I'm gonna try to find out more about that, because I believe all our reps, at least Margaret Scarsdale is on that team. But I think we need to,
Next Tuesday at 11:30
yeah,
she'll be here.
next Tuesday at 11:30, if somebody, I don't know if I'm gonna be available,
That's the 25th?
the 18th.
Oh, the 18th, sorry.
I don't know if I'm gonna be available, but if anybody is gonna be around,
I can do that.
that would be, I'm gonna try to do it, but,
Okay.
somebody needs to follow up on that, because that was not,
What does that
you heard
do?
that thing
I
as
heard
well.
There's a Facebook page called Save Neshoba, Save Lives,
Yes,
and I saw it on there.
I knew, and I heard something somewhere else as
Yeah.
well, so,
I received an email that I'll forward to you
about the same thing.
from Representative Scarsdale.
Okay.
So I'll forward that to you.
Okay. Was that the same content?
Yeah.
That's not good news. All right. So we need to find out
Does
what
the council, the disbanding of the council that you were talking about, would that change the plans for Mass Memorial to open? Or it's not, we're not sure if it's correlated or not? Because I think that's the biggest question that, you know.
right, I don't
And the
know.
question is where?
Well, that too, yeah, because I know they heard that the building, the Neshoba Valley Medical Building is not available, so.
It's not available, they won't negotiate.
So I think we just need to find out where that stands so we can keep reporting to our seniors what is available.
Who owns the building? Do you know anybody?
Stewart sold off all their properties to some group,
Okay,
is my understanding of this.
okay.
And this group then in turn charged back exorbitant fees for their use of it. Well, this group that must have paid a ton of money isn't going to negotiate, that's not in their favor. So that's what happened to Stewart.
Okay.
That's my understanding of what happened.
Anyway, we need to try to stay on top of this as well, as best we can. And if there's any letter campaign or anything that we can do to try to get this back on track, do what we can. Okay, update on Lunenburg Master Plan meeting. We did have a meeting last week. They're gonna try to get it up and running again. Amanda Moore is gonna try to reach out to some of the other groups that were not represented. We have some new leadership and hopefully we'll get back on track, but the consultant group was not available, so we have no idea where we stand with the survey at present. And that's critical to moving forward. So, let you know when they show up at the next meeting, if they do. All right, 300th Anniversary Committee isn't meeting until April, so if you have any ideas, keep them coming on what we can do. We should do something at least, I think, every month. So keep those ideas. And if you have them for our April meeting, that would be great. Parking lot.
What time they usually meet, the 300? Is it an evening meeting?
Yes, it's an evening meeting. It's in the library. I could give the date. I
Okay.
don't have it off the top of my head right now, but I'll send it to you. Is it? It's what?
28.
28. It's in the Stolen room. It's at 6 o'clock. So before, we would have a chance for input before their next meeting, at our next meeting. We just had a parking lot update from Chris. So we had your report.
Yeah.
Already.
I kind of jumped ahead
So
of that.
just dovetailed into that. Elena, did you have anything from the supporters?
They were quick. They said they were going to meet yesterday, last Wednesday, and it didn't.
Okay.
So you said on the 26th?
Yep.
I was told recently that it was going to be tomorrow, so maybe I'll check that.
It was,
Oh,
and it got changed again.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Individuals are,
Still saying?
yeah.
Yeah, it's been a rough winter.
Yes.
Just if you hear me cough, I have bronchitis, but I've been on medication for 48 hours, so I've been told that I'm not contagious. So I don't want anybody to think I wouldn't be up here with our seniors if I were
Does
contagious.
whooping cough still exist?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
It does.
Might come back.
My daughter did. Any notes and communications? Anybody heard anything else? Any board comment?
I'll make one other comment related to the budget that I heard this past week. Currently, our fire department is fully staffed. I could get it on a little bit on how they're working, but basically, we are staffed 6 days of the week and not 7. And the fire chief renewed his request to bring on that full-time service where we're staffed 7 days a week by firefighters and not just on-call firefighters. He presented that was going to be, in the first year, we had a budget increase of about close to $500,000. The overall budget for the fire department is about $1.5 million, the entire budget. And in the past few years, we have expanded from having our ambulance from being from an EMT to a paramedic. And I asked the chief, what's the difference? Mostly and he said, he was short in explaining, there are a lot of people walking around there today in Lunenburg because paramedics can do more procedures in an ambulance than an EMT. I actually want to ask him specifics so that we can help the public understand how important that is. But one thing, and this is something I brought it up during the meeting, is that the ambulance does bring in receipts, revenue for the town. And looking over the past 5 years, it has been an average of 290,000. So it's really a 300,000, let's just round it up. So the request that the fire chief has had to fully staff our fire department with firefighters, not on-call firefighters, with paramedics, all 7 days of the week, is really just a net $200,000 extra a year, if we account for the receipts that he's bringing in. This is something I put around my little red notebook to talk with the town manager, but, if anyone out there, if anyone wants to drop a note to to our town manager, telling her how important you find to have our fire department staffed 7 days a week, I think that does help to show her that this is a need. Another side to that is the way we have scheduled our firefighters is that they're mandatory to work about 48 hours a week. And the chief did talk about, that just putting too much of a burden on firefighters, and he's concerned about attrition. It's very costly financially to hire new people. It's also very costly in a small department to have a lot of attrition of long-term employees. So there's two things that we're, battling. So it would be great if we could get their hours close to 42 hours, so that we are not losing firefighters. And by the way, that is how the majority of towns and cities in Massachusetts work. And it would be great if we could have, support for everyone, not just seniors, to, through well-staffed paramedics. So drop the town manager a note and tell her this is important to you. Or for you, whatever your position is.
I'm curious, which 2 daes are they not fully staffed?
So
They
they-
get sick.
Yeah, so just so you know, it is, so we always used to have on-call firefighters, and we have been slowly transitioning to the fire department to be fully staffed by staff. Right now, that is the case for 6 days, Monday through Saturday. On Sunday, we do have people on, but it's on call that they schedule the people. The problem is if the on-call part of the department cannot make it, firefighters, just like nurses, they must show up. It's a mandatory overtime. So if the fire chief cannot staff Sunday with the on-call scheduled people, he then puts in the call that regular firefighters, staff firefighters need to show up. So Monday through, so we are staffed full time, but he sees that as a problem for us maintaining good staff here that's been here for a long time.
Plus you're paying more for overtime
It,
than you would if you had it
Right.
staffed.
Yeah, and he gave the numbers of, out of this past year, 72% of those Sundays did end up being staffed by regular staff. So it was really only about 30% that other position of on-call staff coming in and supporting on Sunday. And what usually happens, I don't want to get too much into the details, is that we have our staff on location. If there is a call, they go immediately to the call. And then on-call firefighters go on to the station to cover the station, or then they reached out to other towns. So, we have a good system working. It's important to have the staff plan for the times they're open. I mean, it seems pretty obvious to me, but.
So it's just 1 day we're not staffed or 2?
Yeah, we're missing,
Okay.
I think based on the calculation, 3 firefighters. 3, I should say, we're missing 3 FTEs, full-time employees. So anyway, and then the point of the comment is, send the town manager a note and tell her that this is important for you, or to you, whatever the proposition is.
Okay, I can give you one example of an EMT versus a paramedic,
Please.
because it happened to me. When my son was 6, he was stung by a bee. He had an anaphylactic reaction. So the Lunenburg Fire Department came, the ambulance, but they were EMTs. And EMTs at that time, it may have changed, could not distribute epinephrine. So they took us by ambulance to the Ritter, met Patriot with their paramedics, and their paramedic got out, got in our ambulance, and took us the rest of the way because paramedics can distribute epinephrine. So that was life and death for my son.
Right.
Just an example. I don't know, my son's now 33.
Right.
It was a long time ago, and could be different, but that's one example.
Yeah, and I'm planning to email the chief and ask, for real examples of what is the paramedic
I
can
know
do.
EMTs have so much training and paramedics have so much
Right.
training. A lot of paramedics I know are registered nurses.
Right. And, you know, and that's the kind of thing that when you're presenting to, you know, I know the presentations are technically to the finance committee, but you're really presenting to the public. That's how the public will know what you do, how you do it, importance. So I wanna, you know, I wanna emphasize that. And I see us, I mean, if you guys watch the meeting, I kind of push back on the town manager on how they are realizing the revenue of the ambulance and the cash flow, and I was getting a little too technical on it, but that's the thing is, you know, when you, for example, the sewer commission, they are able to plan their expenses with the revenue that's coming, they are going to receive on FY26. The way we are planning our ambulance, we are now using money that we received in FY24. We will not be able to use money that we're receiving on FY25. And you cannot blame FY26. So there's like, you know, 2 years of revenue that's just sitting in the sky that nobody can use it just by a procedural thing on how we realize revenue in our books. So I'm going to use that because it's important. Like these things don't seem to matter a lot until you understand how they matter. And this is literally $600,000 that we have sitting in the sky that we could be using to fund the fire department in full. So I'm going to be pushing that.
And, just to add on to yours, a couple of years ago in another town, a friend of mine, she fell and broke a few things. And the EMTs got there, they had to call the paramedic to come to give her an IV and pain meds, because the EMTs couldn't do that.
And I will clarify, it was because of his age, the EMTs could not give up an effort. He was too young, too small.
It is important.
It is important. So drop the town manager.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. I would like to make a comment to our public that, to get this out there, you can watch us anytime on Lunenburg Access through YouTube, and go down and find the playlist for the Council on Aging. So please do that if it's on an inconvenient time or you don't know when it's on. Pass the word around, we are going to be out there. Anybody else have anything to
Just,
say?
there's a folder, so you can look up any of the meetings, not just the last one.
And please contact one of us if there's something that you would like to have discussed, or information you would like to know about, or information that you would like us to present to the public. Please contact any one of us. That's
So
my
if you have
comment.
trouble using YouTube, come see Doug the first Thursday of the month.
Well, most people have YouTube on their computers or TVs or
You would think.
devices, hopefully. All right, any other board comment? All right, seeing none, do I hear a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second? Second. Any discussion? All right, please stay for a picture. All right, thank you. All those for adjournment?
Thank you, Kayla. Thank you.
No? All right.